Hi, I'm Jennifer Tyner. I'm the Lead Care Manager from Aging Outreach Services, and this is All Things Aging.
And I'm Amy Obst. I'm editor of Outreach NC, our monthly publication. And today we're talking about a hot topic, something I hear a lot about because I'm also a mental health counselor and just from friends.
Right.
Which is, how do I care for my mom or for a parent when they didn't care for me?
We get lots of calls from adult children who don't have a great relationship with their parents and they don't know what to do. So we thought this would be a good topic, something
Well,
to
I
talk
hear
about.
from adult children a lot that they were surprised that their parents were even including them in the planning process or expecting care because they
Right.
never talked about it.
Right.
And they just assumed, given the relationship,
That
that
they
wouldn't
weren't.
be responsible.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to rapid fire these questions
All
to
right,
you.
let's do it.
What would you recommend being the first step in caring for a parent who wasn't there for you during your childhood?
Get counseling. That's my first recommendation. The first step is for you as the adult child who's trying to make decisions or help decide if they want to help with their aging parent is to get some therapy, to come to some kind of resolution with your therapist of whether or not you're capable or able to provide help for your loved ones, because it's not your responsibility. Things are a little different these days, whereas back in the day where it kind of was your responsibility as the adult child, and things have changed and progressed. And so right now the first step would be to get into some counseling and help get that person to help you determine whether or not you can help.
And we can also help you determine the level of help. You
Right,
don't have
yeah.
to have them live with you. You could help financially, or you could check in, or whatever you are
Exactly.
comfortable with given the boundaries.
But that's definitely the first step.
So I'm sure that for a lot of people, when they think, I don't want to deal with this, they think, I'm going to hire somebody else.
Right.
Would you recommend hiring somebody else to care for a parent?
Well, every family's different, so depending on what your determination was through your therapy, it can be a very helpful situation to hire somebody to help. Start with somebody like me, a geriatric care manager, who knows the resources and the things that are available to your parents and their community. You can look at hiring caregivers to help with more of the day-to-day things, bathing, dressing, grooming, transportation, those types of things. But as the care manager, I can help make sure you're tapping into all the resources that are available to you in your area.
And I didn't understand this before I worked here, but care managers can look at the big picture and say, here's all of the different things that need to happen here.
Right.
Whereas we may not see
Exactly.
and be able to identify everything that needs to happen.
We do a comprehensive assessment, full needs assessment, where we can kind of go in and help determine what exactly do they need. The parents may not need home care.
Right.
They may need help with placement. They may need just help with transportation. So helping facilitate that assessment to determine what exactly they do need. So
and how to keep them safe. Like it may
In the
be something
process.
as small as picking up the rugs and putting in grab bars, but I
Or
wouldn't
getting a
necessarily
ramp.
think that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. What are some good resources for caring for older adults?
Home care agencies, care management. The Senior Enrichment Center is a really good place to start. You mentioned home modification, so making sure that you're tapping into those resources. The veterans benefits. Again, there's so many things that you might be able to get assistance from that you're not even aware of.
Should the adult child make all of the decisions for their aging parents?
Could, no. Sometimes in that therapy at the beginning of this process where you're trying to determine your therapist or yourself, you're going to say, I can't do that. And I don't want to do that, or I don't need to do that. We're not in a good enough place for me to be that person. So that's when you can start talking about guardianship. So you can feel good that your parents are in a position where somebody has been appointed to be their decision maker. So they're not responsible for their bills and health care and things like that, because they no longer could be able to do that. But there's a state appointed person who's advocating for them and has their best wishes at hand, and they're going to be very thorough. Usually it's an attorney or a social services worker, depending on your parent's situation. And we do some guardianship at Aging Outreach as care managers. We'll often do the healthcare guardianship for older adults. So, no, I don't think you should ever try to do it all by yourself, even if you can and you want to.
Right.
I mean, it's a very stressful position to be in. So, making sure that you're reaching out to some of those resources we talked about earlier. And then, if you can't be their end all be all, then consider guardianship.
And then finally, what are some good resources, not for helping your parent, but for helping you make the decisions necessary to make this kind of go smoothly for everybody?
There are several really good books that I can recommend. I'll read off a couple of those, but Coping with Your Difficult Older Parent is the first one. It's a really good one. Grace Lebow wrote that one. It's a very interactive, great book. And then Children with Self-Absorbed Parents, that talks a little bit more about narcissistic mental health issues with parents. Doing the Right Thing, Taking Care of Elderly Parents is another one. Elder Rage or Take My Father. Please. That one's by Jacqueline, Marcell. It's another really well written book that can help. And then the last one's Taking Care of Parents Who Didn't Take Care of You, Making Peace with My Aging Parents. Making peace with the fact that your history isn't what it used to be or what you thought it was going to be, but now you want to be their help. You want to be the person that helps take care of them. There are also support groups available. Most of the ones that I'm able to locate are online. But we have one here in Moore County, that our estrangement support group. It's inactive right now, but we're planning to start that back up in January. So we have a lot of older adults who are estranged from their parents that support group can help with that process too. So support groups, books, resources, and then just tapping into those resources that are available are the things that I recommend.
I've been to your estrangement support group, and it has been so soothing for so many people.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's a very isolating feeling
Yeah.
on both ends, for the adult child and for the parent. And people often feel that they're the only ones experiencing this.
Right.
So
we do. Right now, the support group is really just the aging parent, but what we hope is to start a second series where we get the adult child involved in a support group so that they can see that they're not alone. They're not the only people that are estranged from their parent, and just helping them cope with ways to help their older parents, but without re-engaging themselves in their lives or that abuse or whatever might have happened in the past.
thank you. I always learn so much.
Thank you for having me.